The cafe was loud in the way loneliness always is, cups clinking, chairs scraping, laughter that didn't belong to anyone sitting alone. A single dad stared into a cooling mug, rehearsing apologies he would never say out loud, when a small shadow stopped at his table. "Can I share this table?" asked the one-legged girl. He looked up, surprised not by her missing limb, but by the calm courage in her eyes. He hesitated for half a heartbeat, long enough to feel ashamed, and then he said the words that would quietly change both their lives, "Of course. Please." Her name was Noor. She eased herself into the chair with practiced grace, the metal of her prosthetic tapping softly against the floor like punctuation in a sentence that had been interrupted too many times. He introduced himself as Daniel, a widower with a 6-year-old son waiting at home, and an exhaustion that lived behind his smile. The cafe's other tables were full, but the space between them felt unexpectedly wide, like a bridge waiting to be crossed. They began with small talk. Weather. Coffee. The kind of talk people use to keep their hearts at arm's length. Noor spoke with an honesty that felt rare. She told him she liked coming here because the barista remembered her order and because the window let in afternoon sun that made everything feel possible. Daniel listened, nodding, noticing how easily she laughed at herself when the chair wobbled or when a passerby stared too long. He realized how often he had learned to look away from pain, his own and everyone else's, thinking it was kindness. Sitting across from Noor, he understood that seeing, truly seeing, was the braver choice. The first challenge arrived quietly, like a cloud passing over the sun. A man at a nearby table muttered something under his breath. Daniel stiffened, ready to defend, but Noor reached out and placed her hand flat on the table. "It's okay," she said softly. "Not everyone knows how to sit with difference." Daniel felt his chest tighten. He had been teaching his son to be strong, but here was a girl teaching him to be gentle without surrender. Over the next weeks, the cafe became their shared place. Noor told him about the accident that took her leg when she was 12, a reckless driver, a rainy night, a hospital room that smelled of antiseptic and fear. Daniel spoke of the night his wife didn't come home, of the long mornings after, of learning to braid hair for school events and pack lunches while carrying grief like a second backpack. They did not compete in pain. They made room for it. One afternoon, Daniel brought his son, Eli. The boy hovered behind his father at first, eyes wide with curiosity and uncertainty. Noor smiled at him, the kind of smile that doesn't ask for anything. "Do you like drawing?" she asked, sliding a napkin and pen across the table. Eli nodded. He drew a superhero with one leg and a cape too long for his body. Noor studied it like it was a masterpiece. "Looks fast," she said. Eli beamed. Daniel swallowed hard, realizing how rarely his son saw adults who didn't flinch at what made someone different. The story didn't glide forward without resistance. Daniel's family questioned his growing friendship. Noor faced days when the prosthetic hurt and nights when old nightmares returned. Eli struggled at school when a classmate mocked the superhero drawing. The cafe owner hinted, kindly but clearly, that not all customers were comfortable. Each challenge arrived like a test asking the same question: would they retreat, or would they stay? They stayed. Daniel wrote a letter to the school and taught Eli words that were firm without being cruel. Noor started a small art workshop at the cafe on slow mornings, inviting kids to draw heroes that looked like them. The cafe owner watched the room fill with color and laughter and quietly rearranged the tables to make more space. Even the muttering man returned one day and sat at the counter, awkwardly leaving a generous tip. Time, patient and relentless, did its work. Daniel learned that love didn't always arrive as romance. Sometimes it came as responsibility rediscovered, as courage borrowed from a girl who refused to shrink. Noor learned that accepting help did not make her smaller, it made the circle larger. Eli learned that heroes are not defined by what they lack, but by what they choose to do when the room goes quiet. The day Daniel said it, what he had been circling for months, there was no drama. Just sunlight and coffee steam. "I don't know what this is," he admitted, "but I know I want to keep showing up." Noor smiled, eyes shining. "Showing up is the bravest part," she said. "If you've stayed with this story to this moment, you know why it matters. Because sometimes the most important yes is spoken to a stranger asking for a seat. If this story touched you, if it reminded you to look up and make space, please like this video and subscribe to the channel KinkyTube. Your support helps stories like this reach hearts that need them. In the end, the cafe was still loud, still imperfect. But at one small table by the window, a single dad, a one-legged girl, and a child who believed in capes had proven something simple and strong. Compassion doesn't require grand speeches. It begins with a chair pulled out, a table shared, and the courage to say yes.